Hello, hello. Welcome back to the 80s Fantasy Film Club, where we celebrate the very best of 1980s sci-fi and fantasy films. I mean, where else are you going to find a mullet like this, quite frankly? I am Josh Winning. I'm the author of The Shadow Glass, which is my 1980s nostalgic adventure that is inspired by Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal and Neverending Story, and is full of nerd heroes, bloodthirsty puppets, and a whole bunch of fantasy Easter eggs. This week, I'm going to be joined by three fantastic guests to chat about Labyrinth, which is the 1986 fantasy extravaganza directed by Jim Henson. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm just going to try to add in our guests now. Okay. Who else I can get to join? This is always a nerve-wracking part. Hi, Fran.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the chat.
Thank you. I'm just going to put my hand over the camera a second. There we go.
Awesome. I'm just going to add in Shelley, and then hopefully we're good to go.
Hello!
The worm has arrived.
Want a cup of tea?
My teeth.
Got my own cup of tea, thank you kindly.
Cheers!
Brilliant. So great, I love the hair.
It took me so long.
Right, let me just see if I can get Dustin in as well.
Just my natural look now.
On Sundays, you're either a gelfling or a worm, apparently.
Or a rabbit.
Or a rabbit, yeah. Your dress-up box is bigger than Johnny Depp's.
Oh, I'm so hot in this scarf.
Oh no, this wig is unbelievably hot. I can't explain. How did David Bowie do it? I don't understand. It's so hard. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait for Dustin to join, but I'll introduce you guys while we're waiting to add him in. So first up, we have Fran Doricott, otherwise known as Francesca May. You are the author of Witchy Gatsby Reimagining, Wild and Wicked Things. It's beautiful. It's got sprayed black edges and everything. Really beautiful.
Going off to order.
Fran's main 80s movie memory is watching Return of for the first time, having nightmares about the scene with all the Mumby heads, and then promptly watching the film all over again the very next day, that's the kind of fantasy fan I like.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrifying. I must watch it again. Then we have Shelley Toy, not the worm, it is Shelley Toy. Who runs the Tales of Point Horror book club. Shelley once learned all the words to Somewhere Out There from an American Tale after taping it off her VHS. And once it stopped making her cry, she sang it in a school concert in full Fievel Mousekewitz voice. I feel like we need to hear some of this.
That's so good.
It's a bit like... That's all you're getting.
Shelley, that's all I need. That was lovely.
Thank you.
Okay, let me try to get Dustin added in one more time. I think he is in the chat, so let's see. This is going to work. It's maybe the first time on 80s Fantasy Film Club someone gets lost in the ether of Instagram and can't join the fun. No. All right, well, I'll introduce the film. So, who's that? Bit of feedback. Oh, what's going on? I've got an interloper. Ooh, that's a bit strange. Can everybody else hear that strange crackling noise?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah. An alien is trying to communicate with us.
What? I can't hear anything.
Oh. Shelley, can you take out your earphones and put them in again?
Yeah, just one sec.
Just in case it's that.
Is that better?
It's a different...
Yes?
Is that better? Okay, let me take them off. I'll take them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. you remind me of the babe, sitter, that is. Sarah, the babysitter. She's left alone to look after her half-brother Toby, and she wishes for the goblins to come and take him away. And when they do, she's confronted by evil in sparkly eye makeup. I have no idea what that's like. As Jareth, the Goblin King, gives her 13 hours to solve the labyrinth in order to save Toby, which is easier said than done when a dozen puzzles and shady characters stand in her way. Piece of cake, right? So I'm going to dive straight in. I'm going to hope that Dustin can join us at some point, but I'm going to dive straight in with questions. And let's see how you all like this little slice. What is your earliest memory of watching Labyrinth? Let's start with Fran.
I think I was far too young. I was probably like 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
And it was on, I think it must have been on TV, and my mum had just like plonked me in front of it because, you know, it's got puppets in it, right? It's fine. But like getting to the point at which you first meet Jareth and being very confused emotionally, sexually, I don't know. I was very and,
so many levels.
So iconically just being like, this is not for children.
I'm in the grown-up world now.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I watched the whole thing. I was very amused by the whole thing, but definitely that one moment I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be watching.
Strange feelings.
Yeah.
So much glitter and grown-up sort of brooding.
Hairspray.
Yeah. Anything with that much hairspray is not meant for children, frankly.
The bulge. It's the very intense.
Oh, yeah.
Bulge.
It's very prominent.
Yeah, there is definitely a bulge there. Jessica Ann says the film scared me. Yeah, that's actually my sister, everyone. I remember that. Shelley, what's your first memory of watching Labyrinth?
Yeah, so I remember having the VHS, and I watched it most weekends, and I always wanted to be Sarah. As a child, I absolutely loved Sarah, and I just wanted to be her. So I used to dress up quite a lot and learn passages to books and stuff and try and like be like her. But I also had an old English sheepdog when I was younger.
Oh.
So I used to like, I've got a picture here, I'll show you. I used to like role play with the dog. So,
so sweet.
Yeah, Misty, her name was.
Oh.
So I was very much trying to channel my inner Sarah. But yeah, so it's just memories of just the magic of it. And I think, you know, Sarah was a little bit of an idol to me, and I looked up to her, and yeah, it was just on every weekend.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Oh, that sounds very similar to me. I had it on video, and I remember it being a black box video, which I think was quite rare and made it feel quite luxurious and different and mysterious.
Yeah.
And it's one that I used to watch with my sister like over and over and over again. I found it a little bit scary, but not crazy scary. I think the scariest stuff I found was actually Sir Didymus, because when you first meet Sir Didymus, he's just like really relentless and won't let them pass no matter what they say or do. And that kind of really scared me as a kid, because it was like, oh my God, he's actually not going to back down. And of course he turns out to be brilliant in the end, so that's fine.
But he's a very determined character, isn't he?
I know, bless him. Karen and Faye both say, oh, yeah, it's very sweet.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that Sarah was kind of an idol. Did you actually like her?
Yeah, so I loved her as a child, but I think as I've got older, I do realise, like at the start, she's very stroppy and like, you know, like a bit of a spoilt brat. But having now got a teen, I understand the parents' frustration with that. But yeah, I think, yeah, and I think I just love the fact that, so I love her because I like how she grows. And even though like she hates her baby brother, like she knows what's right and wrong, and she has regrets, and I just think it's a good lesson to learn. And I like her. I still like her. I love her.
Oh. What about you, Fran?
Connelly.
I don't like her, but then anyone who knows me knows that I really like unlikable characters. So like, if I were to meet her as a person, no, thank you. I remember what it was like being a teenage girl. It was not fun. Yeah, no, I don't think I would like her as a person, but as a character, like you say, I really like her growth. And I don't know, I think there's something about that vulnerability, that moment where she realizes like what is actually important to her, that makes her character arc like really fulfilling. Yeah, I don't like her as a person, but that's by the by.
The thing is as well, she's always talking about cake, and I just get disappointed that then cake doesn't magically appear.
Would like more cake.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember when I was a kid not really understanding the metaphor of how, let's see how you like this slice, and then the big machine thing comes. I was like, that's not is it slicing? I guess it's slicing, but I was like, that's not a piece of cake at all. It's a big scary thing. Karen says, I wanted to be Sarah so I could have her awesome hairdo at the ball. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But then I realised the tea worm was way cooler. Yeah. There you go. Everyone loves the worm.
How about you, Josh? Did you like Sarah?
I always liked Sarah. Yeah, whenever people kind of said, oh, she's really annoying, I was always a bit surprised because I just completely rooted for her. I felt for her. You know, even though, yes, she is objectively very annoying at the start, you know, she's like, it's not fair, and just complaining all the time. You kind of feel for her.
It doesn't matter that you don't like her as a person because you understand her. I think that's the thing, is you connect with her.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same as you, Fran. I really like complex characters who aren't particularly likable. But I mean, people love Spike in Buffy, and you know, the anti-hero.
Yeah, but that's for reasons. That's because he's like
that's for the peroxide hair.
Yeah, the hairdo, really, isn't it?
And the leather jacket.
I wonder if it's the way that they're coded. Like, if you are told that a character is a villain or a bad guy, and then they are unlikable, then I don't know, people seem far more willing to accept unlikable villains who have, like, I don't know, a deep morality to them. But then if you present that to them as, this is your hero, they're like, oh, but they're not perfect. Why do I think maybe is that kind of like gap, and that's where Sarah is kind of like, oh, she's really annoying because she's meant to be the hero and she's meant to be amazing. And it's like, no, have you I mean, stories, that's how stories work.
Yeah. Like by the end she is genuinely likable because she's like, come on guys, you know, they're all friends. And
right.
Yeah. Although I was sad at the end when she was like, I have to do this on my own. I was like, Sarah, why? Like, I know like theologically or you know, philosophically you should do it on your own, but they really should have come with you, Sarah, frankly. They've got you that far.
Emotional support, and
even if they were just peeking over the edge, like, you can do it.
Moral support from the sideline.
Like a football match in an Escher painting.
Getting redemption at school and stuff, like, I think great.
And the thing is, I kind of like the fact that when she's being bratty and sort of like, oh, that's not fair and annoying, I like the fact that she does that at Jareth, who is the villain. So even if she is being a bit like, stop my foot, the fact that she's doing it to the guy who's stolen her baby brother makes you feel like, be annoying at him. You're allowed to do that.
She doesn't care who she's annoying at, does she? She's just generally just stroppy.
And also her dad and her stepmother are terrible people.
You don't go out every weekend, or it sounds like you do.
I know. Until midnight.
Midnight?
I know.
No.
I love it at the end when the dad's like, Sarah, are you home? It's like, you better hope she is. She's looking after your baby.
Probably.
I know. She was like, screw this, I'm going out.
Midnight.
So a big part of this film is the musical numbers, and we don't really get one until Jareth starts throwing the baby around and Power of Voodoo and everything. And it happens quite suddenly, sort of like, 20, 25 minutes into the film.
Quite far.
And and obviously it's fantastic, but it is like, oh, it's a musical if you haven't seen it before. So I wondered, do you think that the film would have worked as well if it wasn't a musical? Let's start with Fran.
No, I don't think so. And the reason for that is I feel like the musical numbers separate almost like the real world from this fantasy world. And I know that it happens quite late on, but it just gives that really firm divide. Like the further she gets in, the further away from real life she is. And I just think that if the whole thing was non-musical, it would probably feel a bit heavy, actually. I think the music they do just kind of, they spice it up, they jazz it up a little bit, and they do draw that like really firm line between the two. And let's face it, the musical numbers are like the best bits.
Absolutely. I never thought of that it only really becomes a musical in the Labyrinth. That's so true. Yeah, and it really does kind of lighten the mood a bit, because that image of the baby in the throne room surrounded by hundreds of terrifying creepy goblins.
He's just laughing.
Yeah. I think it quite scary though. I think being terrified as a child is a bit different when I was very young, but like it's not meant to be. I think they went through several iterations, didn't they, with the scripts and stuff, and that by the end they'd sort of settled on this. It's not meant to be like super dark and like overtly sexualized and stuff like that. And I feel like without the musical numbers, it does err on the side of like darker.
Yeah, like if you have a villain who suddenly sings, it's suddenly actually not as scary as it would have been.
Oh, and kind of stroppy with him as well. I think otherwise, why are you testing him? Don't you?
Yeah. Have you seen his hair? He's crazy.
Have you seen his bulge?
He's not afraid to just let it all hang out.
I added that very much on purpose, like for the vibes.
Oh yeah, completely.
Why? But I think
it's such a choice. I love that someone made that decision, and they really stuck to it, and were like, "We are doing this."
I really hope it was Bowie who made that decision, and he was like, "This is the only way I'll accept the role."
Well, because he was a very deep thinker. You know how like he predicted the internet and everything like 20 years before it happened. Like he's such a deep thinker, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did have a lot to say about this sort of sexualization of Jareth and what he's trying to portray.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Shelley, do you think it would have been better, worse as a musical without the music?
I think it might have worked without the music, but then I don't think it would have become the cult classic, the classic that it is without it. But I think it could have worked because you think of Labyrinth, and the first thing you do kind of think of is David Bowie and the music before you think of anything else. So obviously that made it, and his tight trousers obviously, but that kind of made it very memorable in that respect. But do you like, my question I thought of to you guys was like, do you think the film would have worked with a different actor playing the Goblin King singing those songs, or did Bowie just create the magic that to make it such a classic? What do you think? I was thinking about this and I thought, I'm not sure.
I think that he brings so much with him in terms of like his persona, and like the film. I'm going to ask you about the themes later on, but the film for me is very much about sexual awakening and sort of like the allure of that kind of fame, that fame persona. And so he kind of represents that both as a character and as David Bowie. Like last week in Dark Crystal, we were talking about how the puppets are purely their own characters. Like they don't bring any kind of acting baggage with them whatsoever. They like, it's not Meryl Streep dressed up as a mystic, so but Bowie does. Like the absolute opposite happens with Bowie coming to play the Goblin King. He brings so much presence and like baggage, but in a good way, I guess.
Yeah,
kind of how I feel about it.
Point. Because I read that wasn't Michael Jackson like one of the I think he's probably the only actor I could consider to be like not on the same level in terms of the performance, but like the same kind of vibe. I feel like he could have done like quite also wacky and a little bit of like, you know, bit of both.
Yeah. I think he would have been really creepy.
Yeah.
It definitely would have been like maybe the earlier permutation of Labyrinth as opposed to what we actually end up with. So, you know, I think Bowie is
essential.
Yeah.
So I think that it could work without the music if David Bowie wasn't involved. But we're glad David Bowie was involved because that's what's made it the classic, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you said, the songs are just so iconic and they're so catchy and they're still just so good. And they each kind of serve a different purpose within the narrative of the film. So like As the World Falls Down is just this beautiful, perfect, haunting ballad that is about the growing up themes of the film coming to the fore immediately, and that kind of like seduction, that weird seduction kind of thing going on. So yeah, I think if the music hadn't been quite so prominent, I don't think the film would have been as interesting, at least.
Yeah, and had the longevity that it has had. I mean, I think it's interesting when you look at the reception sort of initially and then the reception kind of in the years following and how reception's changed. And I think that's partly because of culture catching up. And I think that kind of the music is almost like it's timely and timeless at the same time because it works as like a capsule almost. Just the mood really.
So that the film was considered like a commercial flop because it didn't make anywhere near as much money as it needed to recover the budget. So why do you think that it was a flop back in '86? What do you think? What do you think? Why was there a disconnect with the audiences, do you think?
Maybe it was a little bit ahead of its time. Does that make sense? Like maybe it was just a bit advanced for people. That sounds so bad, but advanced for people.
They were so primitive back then. Nobody knew anything.
I do find it's like you said about the sort of the sexual awakening themes. I think particularly when you look at the market that it's aimed for, and I think maybe it wasn't clear enough on the market for a film that was released when it was released. Like I think it's kind of a scattershot type thing where it actually appeals to a lot of people, but there's one concrete market for it. And the fact that it is then this kind of like coming of age sexual awakening type themes running through it while also kind of looking like a kid's film, you know, I think it's like it just kind of it breaks barriers. But I think sometimes those sorts of films need time to marinate as well and find the right audience.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think that it didn't have the cuddliness of like the Muppets. So the Muppets are clearly for kids, but adults, there's like a bit of adult humor in there. But looking at Labyrinth, it's like, those puppets are really freaky. I don't want to spend an hour and a half with them. And like, obviously we love them because they are fantastic, but maybe people thinking about going to see the film in the 80s were put off by just the grotesquerie of it all.
It surprises me that it was a flop because you would think, because Bowie had quite a following of the 70s, so you'd think like he would have that pull of his fans into the film. So it's quite surprising that it was like considered a flop. I would have thought it would have come across, but
Aaron says it was a flop because I wasn't old enough then to buy my own cinema tickets and could only see it once. I think I was only like 2 or 3 when the film came out, so there was no way I was seeing it, sadly. But VHS owned that VHS. So when Sarah is, one of the first things that Sarah encounters in the Labyrinth is a terrifying sort of, what is it, like a shaft of helping hands, all like doing this. So when she falls into it, she chooses down rather than up. She chose down.
You do that so well.
Which to me just seems absolute insanity, but I wondered which direction would you have chosen if you were in Sarah's situation? Let's start with Fran.
I think you're right. I think it's madness. I would have definitely gone up because like all the rules about mazes and things is that you'd want to be able to see where you were going, right? Like you want to do that. But then I was thinking about kind of going back to kind of if I was Sarah, and you know when you get in a really bad strop, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're so deep in it that you can't drag yourself out, right? You're being particularly mardy, and
I want to be angry. I want to stay angry.
And like, part of me just wonders if she's still carrying that energy in with her, and she's like, right, fine, we'll go down then. Like, I don't know. It just
the way she says it is just kind of like, I guess I'll just go down. Even the hands are like, are you sure about this?
Yeah, it just seems like a strange decision to make. So yeah, no, I think I would have gone up.
Okay.
What about you, Shelley?
Now, I think I know the reason why Sarah chose down. Because if she's anything like me, if she chose up, she then would have got to the top and had to climb out of the hole, which, if I did that, would look like when I'm trying to climb out of the swimming pool, where you kind of like lift and belly flop on the side and then wriggle your little legs.
Hey, sorry.
Hello, Dustin.
Oh my God.
Dustin.
No, I was having internet problems, and I'm like, I'm still having internet problems, so I don't know what the deal is, but trying to get myself set up here. Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Welcome.
Well, don't you guys look all festive?
One side.
Guess who Shelley is?
Cup of tea.
Oh, goodness, sorry. I was like, oh my God, it's still 2025. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
We've got plenty of time.
Okay, good.
Welcome. For everyone who is seeing Dustin for the first time, this is Dustin from Dustin Can Read and Watch podcast, which is fantastic. Go check it out. Available on all, what's it called? Platforms.
Yeah.
That's the one. And so here's a little fact about Dustin, just like an icebreaker. After seeing Batman in 1989, Dustin got a toy Batman utility belt and a bat gun, and wore a Batman ball cap with a mask, and rode his bike around the neighborhood patrolling as Bat-Kid.
Oh, I love that,
Dustin, everyone.
Yeah, I did. I know I have the cap somewhere because I wrote Bat-Kid in the cap. So yeah.
That's like the premise for an actual comic book, I think.
Probably it should be. It should be. I'm they need to like. They always have they have the Miss Marvels and whatnot, the fan kids, I guess you would say, who want to be like the superheroes. They should have one for Batman. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Do you guys remember? I don't know if you watched the Ninja Turtles cartoon back in the day. They had a little kid that dressed up like a turtle, and he wanted to be a turtle as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat.
Cute. Yeah. Anyway. So we're talking about why Sarah chooses down when she falls into the helping hand.
Oh yeah.
Tunnel. And so, Dustin, which direction would you have chosen?
I would have gone up. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go into some pit where I have no idea what's down there. At least I know I can see things. It's not dark.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going up. But no, I don't understand why she chose down. I'm pointed that way. No, you're not. You're not pointed that way.
I know. Crazy. Is it meant to make her seem really brave? Like she just thinks she can handle anything that happens?
I think she's cocky, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely, I was just saying, Dustin, that she didn't choose up because if she's anything like me, when you go up, you like belly flop on the side to try and wriggle out like the swimming pool, and then your legs are flailing everywhere, and like it's just really embarrassing. So she was like, oh, I can't do that.
Just let me land gracefully at the bottom.
In a cell.
I definitely would have chosen up. I think it's madness to keep going down. Down is never good. Down is
She chose down.
She chose down.
She chose down.
I laugh at her.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm wondering now, there are so many fantastic characters in this film. Some are puppets, some aren't. But who is your favorite character in the film? Let's start with Dustin.
Oh, definitely Ludo. As far as I like Ludo because he's simple and he's lovable and he can talk to rocks. So who doesn't want a friend who can talk to rocks? That they can actually do things with the rocks, not just who talks to rocks. I don't want a crazy friend, but I love him for that. I think he's awesome.
He's so cute. What about you, Fran?
Jareth.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay, so when I was young, he scared me, and now it's much more like I don't know. I just really like my villains. I'm a real fan of the villains always, and he's just, I don't know. There's something about Bowie anyway that's.
It's the tight trousers.
Tight trousers. I mean, to be honest, I think it's the hair.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think it's energy as well. Like he's just got that really wacky, evil, but not super evil. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just that kind of. It's good evil. It's a good level.
He's like bored, isn't he? He's like sitting around. He's so powerful. He's
Playing
like, come on, guys, challenge me. Give me a challenge here.
The makeup as well, definitely.
Yeah. Makeup is really difficult to do, by the way. Like
that's what I was thinking. I was looking at you and I was like, how long does it take you to put it on? How long does it take you to get it off?
The weird instinct is actually to go really big, but actually,
well, it's the drag
really
queen.
Tiny. Yeah, exactly. You kind of go like divine, but it's like, no, don't go divine. You have to go little. It's really weird, yeah.
Shelley, I know you're doing the little worm or the little, I don't know, he's a worm, a caterpillar, or whatever. You kind of almost look like a character from Whoville as well, like with the
I tried to get these to stick out, but
hello.
It's so good.
Hello.
I feel like she had 13 hours ahead of her. She really should have just had a cup of tea to like get her going, get her energy
there you
up, and then tackle the labyrinth. And then maybe he would have said
cup of tea.
Maybe then she would have heard him say, well, that's the way to the castle, and then done. Job done. Yeah. Shelley, is it worth even asking who your favourite character is, or are you wearing your character right now?
Well, the worm is one of my faves, but I think it's Hoggle.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love him.
Hogwit.
I know Hogwarts. I was like,
No, because I love him. He was always my favourite when I was younger, and I just adore him because he's so bullied by Jareth, and like, he's just so lovable. And then what always got me is the look when Sarah says, "You're my friend," and the look that he does, like, no, he's just got my heart, and I can't get it. I just love him.
Yeah.
Hoggle, friend.
You kind of feel like, what's he been through? Because he's seriously damaged. He doesn't trust anybody. He doesn't really think he's deserving of having a friend.
I think he's been Jareth, that's the problem.
Oh, yeah. He can't even get his name right. He knows his name. He's just purposefully... Higgle.
Higgle, Hoggle.
Hoggle, Higgle, Haggle.
Do you think these characters kind of represent different sides of Sarah?
Like the extremes to the extreme.
Yeah, like Ludo, she meets him kind of towards the end, and he's lovable and everything, and so she's getting to be a little bit more likable. But when she meets Hoggle, that's the first one, and he's the greedy one. He's the one who wants it all for himself. He doesn't want to help anybody. It's all me, me, me. And that's kind of how she is at first, too. I just thought of that, by the way. I wasn't like...
Yeah.
That totally adds up, because also he loves like plastic jewelry and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's sort of obsessed with all of the ornamentation of being a teenage girl, but kind of getting a bit lost in it, like the dreaminess of it all. So yeah, that totally makes sense.
But I also think with Hoggle that he gets a better person because of the friendship. And like, to me, that is just, I just love that. That he becomes a better person because of that friendship. And,
He's sort of him. Because she has the same experience of kind of learning and growing.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And like everyone gets to be at the party at the end, because everyone's friends in the end, aren't they?
Yeah.
Friends till the end. Even the fire gang get to be there, and like, you really messed her up, you know.
Take off your head.
Took her head off.
Why are you walking around with a head like that? That don't come off.
Of course it doesn't.
Who's your favourite, Josh?
Oh God, I don't know. I find it really difficult to do favourites. I do love Ludo.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, I love the fact that he's such a... It's just this enormous guy who's just got an absolute heart of gold. Like, he looks like a monster. He looks pure, terrifying hell beast. And his hands are so huge. How did they do that? Just crazy.
He's kind of like a dog in that regard, as far as the way he looks. He can look mean, but he can also look really kind and really sweet and inviting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she totally calls it straight away, which is like really adorable that she sees him being bullied and she's like, no, you're clearly a nice guy. Yeah. So was there anything in the film that scared you? Because if you compare this to Dark Crystal, it's maybe not quite on the same level of creepiness, but there is, I think, still some weird stuff in here. Let's start with Shelley.
I think as a child, I was scared of the Fireys. Like, they're just terrifying. Even now, like, that whole scene just gets my heart going. Cause, yeah. But as an adult, the end scene where the stairs are all like upside down, like, it just gives me anxiety.
Oh yeah.
It. And not just because of the baby like about to fall off each edge, but like just because it's so disorientating, even to like just watch. And like it just scare me, that scene, because you just, everything's happening, you're getting to the end of the film, you wanted to get Toby, and you've just got this disorientation moving around. And I think Jareth is quite scary in that scene as well.
Oh yeah.
Coming up. So for me, that does scare me every time. It gets me every time.
Yeah, because it's really actually quite claustrophobic.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm in here now, how the hell do I get out of here?
It's very
and the baby is not getting any closer. In fact, he's getting further and further away.
Yeah,
it is scary.
Really clever scene.
Yeah. How about you, Dustin?
I had a couple, like the helping hands and stuff, but they always creeped me out when I was a kid. But the masquerade ball, because it's so surreal and everybody's kind of taunting her and staring at her through, like, all you see is their eyes, and then she breaks the glass and everybody's like, ah, and then she falls into this like dystopian garbage pit, and that made me uncomfortable even as a kid, and she goes into her room and then it falls apart, and that just was everything was crumbling down. It was just too much for my little mind to take. Still, even today, I don't like it, but
that is a scary scene, that is, actually.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like fourth wall breaking, because it's kind of playing with what the audience it plays with our understanding of what is actually happening. Like when she goes into the bedroom, you think, oh, maybe it actually was all a dream. But then there's a weird woman being like, you like your panda slippers? Why don't you take your panda slippers? It's like,
and I was thinking, I don't know why this is the first time it's popped in my head. I was like, she's trying to make her into one of hers.
Yes, absolutely.
Kept piling stuff on the back of her, like she had all over her back. And I don't know why it just never clicked before.
Yeah, it's like all the ephemera of her childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's all being stacked on top of her, like weighing her down.
Yeah.
What about you, Fran? Was there anything that scared you?
Aside from Jareth and his very tiny,
which you still love.
No, I have a very strange relationship with with Jareth. But you know what? I was thinking about it, and I think actually it's that moment really early on when Toby is gone. It's that, like, that always used to get me as a kid, because it plays with everything that you think is safe. Like, we make wishes all the time for things to come true, and they don't usually. Like, it's a big thing to happen, and that regret that you can see instantly, where she's like, oh no, I didn't really mean it. That to me just feels quite like genuinely scary.
Yeah. I wish I could take it back. It's like you accidentally kill somebody or something. Yeah. It's like, oh God, why did I do that?
Like, because something I think about a lot in the books that I write is like this idea of morality, and like what happens if you do something by accident that you don't really mean, and you didn't put any intent behind it, but it's still a thing. Like, how do you recover from something like that? And like, does it define who you are as a person? And obviously in this case, she overcomes it and she works hard to like come back from that. But there are certain things that you could do by accident that would just so it definitely plays into that whole like question of morality that I have, and it pushes all of my fear buttons.
A gray area. Yeah,
because she really means it. Like, it wouldn't have worked if she didn't mean it.
Absolutely.
So when it did happen, it's like, oh God,
it's like,
I take it back.
Did I mean it? And then, oh God, I did, but like I don't mean it anymore.
But also, is she only afraid of the repercussions, or is she actually just, she loves the baby? You can't really tell.
You don't really know, do you? You don't know whether she realizes, like, how would I come back from this? How could I ever like come back from this?
Yeah.
And how much of it is a growth her to realize, like, maybe initially, because I always got the feeling that maybe initially she is afraid of the repercussions and that's why she's doing it, but then as she kind of goes through the labyrinth, it feels more like she's coming to terms with the decision that she's made, and she's like, oh no, I actually really didn't mean it in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That's interesting. Never thought of...
That kind of leads me into my next question, which is, what do you think the movie is actually saying? You know, what's it about for you personally, other than just puppets and stuff? So, let's start with Shelley.
This is hard because there's so many themes, but I think for me, it's about the power of friendship and what friendship can do. Because that's what I believe, and I think this film has a lot to answer for, because obviously it made an impact on me, because you know, it's telling you to treasure friendships and, you know, take that helping hand and things like that.
Helping hands.
I'm here all week. But also as well to like fight what's right for what's right. You know, Sarah, you know, powers on through and fights for what's right. And also, if you say everything's a piece of cake, sadly you don't get cake.
That's the main takeaway.
And you lose time.
You're waiting 13 hours and there's still no cake. Does she get cake in the end, in the party?
Well, there was a party, so there should be cake somewhere.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. I mean, they had streamers and, you know, confetti.
Looked, but next time I watch it.
You know, in this like current trend of everything being made of cake, maybe.
Maybe one of the puppets was cake all along.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
Karen says, I think it's saying you should always listen properly, especially to adorable little tea worms.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's actually quite a good point, because the worm does know the answer to the problem, and she doesn't listen to the little worm. She just kind of dismisses. She's like, oh, you're cute, bye-bye.
If she listened, then
yeah,
she wouldn't be in the situation. Yeah,
totally. Don't dismiss the little worms. Fran, what for you is the film really saying?
I think it is a classic coming of age story in a lot of ways. I think that it really does pick up on, you know, the emotions that you have as a teenager, where everything really does feel dialed up. Everything feels very strong, very powerful. And like, we react to those feelings. We react very strongly sometimes to those emotions. And I think that the part of the lesson of growing up is learning to like manage your reaction to those emotions. And then by the time you've grown, the emotions themselves are sometimes a little bit more like contained anyway. But I think when, you know, your hormones are flaring and everything just seems like the end of the world, it does see, you know, everything is a big deal and everything's very scary, and sometimes you are cocky and you don't listen. So for me, it is very much that kind of arc where she grows, and it's not just a sexual awakening, but like an emotional awakening for her.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dustin? What's your takeaway?
It's definitely about leaving fantasy behind and growing up and learning how to do that, but also learning how to keep some of your childhood around. Because should you need us, you know, we'll be here. Yeah. But she was, every now and again, I'll need you in my life, you know. And also learning that not everything is fair.
Yeah.
And that's what she said. She goes, you know what? Not everything isn't, you know, because he says to her at one point, that's not fair, because she's been saying it the whole time. And *𝐴𝐽𝐺𝐽 says, that's not fair. And she goes, no. And you know what? Not everything is fair. Yeah. And she just realizes this, you know, like, yeah, stop whining about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I completely agree with all of what you've said. I think there's so much that you can sort of pick out of this film. And I think that, like, one of the really subtle things that you see is the pictures on the mirror of her, who's clearly like her dead mother or her like absent mother, and there's a picture of her mother with David Bowie apparently, and so it's almost like the actual deep cuts sort of subtext that's going on psychologically for her is that she's coming to terms with her mother's death or her mother's departure with this co-star from the theatre kind of thing. So that's, you know, I think that all of that emotion and stuff is tangled up in this idea of performance and fantasy and theatricality. And of course, the villain that she fights looks just like the guy that her mother was dating, kind of thing.
Like her must have left with him.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Karen says, how do you think Jareth became the Goblin King?
Oh.
Ooh.
I think he auditioned with
He sang a
other
song.
Goblin Kings, and it was who had the biggest bulge in leggings and who could play with balls effectively.
Yeah, who could play with crystal balls. Do you remind me of the Babe?
What, Babe?
I wondered if he was stolen once as a baby himself.
That's what I think. Maybe he was, because she's gonna make him make Toby into a goblin. So maybe he was gonna be the successor.
Yeah. And like, would Toby have actually transformed into one of the puppet goblin things, or would he have stayed like a human?
I think he would have stayed a human, because if you look at Jareth in his appearance generally, he's got that human vibe going on. So
yeah,
I think that supports your sort of changeling theory, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. And is that why he's bored? Because he was kidnapped. He's kind of come to power, and now he's like, oh, I'm kind of king of a bit of a dump, actually.
Well, that's why he turns into an owl and like ventures around and watches people, and that's the only way he can come to our realm, unless somebody wishes him there.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
because he's very, like, he's smart. He is smart, and he can sort of trick, and I think he manipulates a lot as well. So that to me says, like, it smacks of that boredom, because maybe he's just like, he's not challenged enough.
No, he's not. He's like bored in the workplace, frankly.
Yeah.
He's like, what are my goals? Give me some direction here, please. What do you mean I am senior management? No, there must be someone more senior than me.
I like how you all have thought of that like more seriously than me with my audition.
No.
I like that.
Sort of like a X Factor style situation where
I could just imagine David Bowie's little boy in the Labyrinth or Goblin Land or whatever. It's T for two and two for T, like dancing and auditioning.
It's part of his audition. So, encouraging her to...
maybe. Yeah.
I missed that one, sorry.
I was saying, do you think maybe it's all part of his audition where he has to kind of lure Sarah into the labyrinth?
He's
His contractual obligation.
He's definitely looking for a queen, isn't he? He's looking for some like companionship. But he's kind of looking slightly in the wrong place, I think. It's not okay.
Well, it's all part of her play. So it's everything that's happening is based on what she's been doing in the play. And the Goblin King had fallen in love with the girl. So that's what it is. He's in love with her. That's why he gives her a chance to get her brother back.
Yeah. But she's got quite a naive attitude towards all the emotions and stuff, which is why I think he comes across the way that he does, because she doesn't really know what it would mean to be kind of, to have someone in love with her. Do you know what I mean? She's young, like, she's got a very sort of cerebral attitude towards it. It's very kind of like...
And he basically says to her, like, he basically just says, like, I want you to be my slave. Like, I don't really care about anything else. Just do what I say. And, like, I'll be your slave. But it's like, well, what do you think? I don't think that's quite how it works.
I wonder what happened.
Actually. Yeah. So there's lots of little Easter eggs in the film. And I wondered if there were any in particular that really stood out for you. Let's start with Dustin.
Okay, I have a few. First, I saw the shelves, her books on the shelf, which are like Wizard of Oz, and then I noticed like she had like the Disney version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, because you saw like Grumpy on the side, and then also the fox Robin Hood. She had a picture of that on her scrapbooks, and then one thing I noticed as far as like. I noticed that when Jareth enters, when you first see Jareth, when he enters Toby's bedroom, glitter everywhere, right? And then when you go through the entire labyrinth, there's glitter everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, does that mean like Jareth is everywhere? Does that mean like, you know, or he's been there before her, you know, that kind of thing? Or, you know, and then the other thing was...
He knows how to make an entrance, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. And this isn't really an Easter egg, but something I don't know why I never noticed this: the bog, the eternal stench, and how it all looks like buttholes.
It really does.
Which, I mean, It's making farting sounds. You know, it looks like poo as well. So it's kind of like I don't know why I never caught that to look like a butt, but because they say something, they look down, they said, "Oh, it looks like I don't know what they said. I forgot to write it down, but they make reference to how it looks, and then he goes, and I was like, oh.
It's fantastically, hilariously disgusting. It's just so wrong. You do not want to fall in that thing. You can see why you would stink forever.
Yeah.
No, there's some good ones. Okay, what about you, Fran?
I think one of the things that it took me quite a while to spot was the MC Escher. The picture on the wall, and obviously how that mirrored, like, everything in her bedroom is just so visible. But that one definitely got me, and I remember being in an art class and seeing that painting for the first time and realizing it was a legitimate painting by a legitimate artist and being like, oh.
What do you mean Escher? What? David Bowie's house.
Literally, I was like, isn't that the picture that's in Labyrinth?
Because where it hangs on her wall, it does kind of blend in with the wallpaper, doesn't it? So you kind of have to really look for it.
Right at the beginning, by the time you get right to the end, you kind of you've become lost in all the other stuff going on. But that one is one of my favorites, just because I think also it just kind of the whole like cycle of the whole thing. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
And the ties of relativity. Everything is relative, isn't it? So
yeah. Awesome. What about you, Shelley?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Fran. Like, the bedroom is just full of Easter eggs, and one thing I've never noticed before when watching, and I'll be honest, I've only noticed it because you pointed it out, Josh, but the statue on the desk of Jareth, David Bowie, sitting there, I've never noticed that before, and
it's just there, isn't it? It's huge.
Yeah, it's there, and it's huge, and I've seen this film so many times and I've never noticed that. So you actually blew my mind in the Twitter chat on Friday. I was like, what? To go back and have a look. So
brilliant.
Yeah, but you know, that bedroom is just full of
full of it's like you know, the dress that she wears in the ballroom scene being in the music box.
Yeah.
Boys gets
and that's what she throws, isn't it? She throws it at the mirror. It's like, no, I discard this piece of crap.
This really is kind of parallel, if you look at it, parallel to Judy Garland's Wizard of Oz, because you have the familiar faces where she goes. She makes friends along the way.
There's a Wizard of Oz book. Doesn't the trash lady put a Wizard of Oz book on her back?
That was on her desk earlier. So it's like it's kind of like, and there's things, you know, you have the dog. Her dog shows up there at the same time, even though it's a Muppet dog, obviously. But and you know, then you have to go to the center. What? That's not a real dog. Going,
that dog is such a good actor.
And then of course you have like the Emerald City and the Goblin City at the end. You know, that kind of thing. So that she has to make it to. So.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like that's why the Wizard of Oz book took for me.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think they've got very similar themes as well. This whole coming of age vibe and like the independence.
Alice in Wonderland as well.
Yeah. A thing, childhood versus adulthood thing. You feel like you're being sort of smothered.
Why is it always girls too?
Yeah,
some boys need to grow up too. I mean, it's not just Peter Pan. Come on.
Boys don't grow up until their 30s. It's not like a teenage kind of story.
Maybe if we had more movies based on us growing up a little faster. A little more influence there.
So we're coming close to the end of the hour. So I'm going to ask my final question, and that is, would you ever want a sequel to Labyrinth? And if so, what would you want to see happen in it? Let's start with Fran.
You know, okay, my knee-jerk reaction is no, because quite often these sequels are appalling, aren't they? But then I thought about it a little bit more, and like my favorite sequel is one of my favorite 80s films, which is Return to Oz, which was made so and it's so tonally different, and arguably it's much less good than the original. It still has its own charm and its own enjoyment, so I'm really like, it would have to equal in cult classic level, and I don't know if they could do it, is the issue. Particularly, obviously, now we've lost Bowie. Like, Bowie is the only Goblin King. that I would ever want to watch. So I think probably not, but I would probably read like a novelization of a sequel.
Yeah.
I think
Okay. Interesting.
In a way.
Okay, so we've got like a half. We've got a half.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, if I wanted a sequel, I would probably want it to be about like Sarah's daughter. You know, I love when I think that would be really fun.
Yeah. Cool. So what about you, Shelley?
A sequel, no, but a prequel I would like. And I'd either like it to be about, because you know, as Fran says, you can't replace Bowie. So either Jareth when he was a young child and seeing how he came to be Goblin King, or about maybe some of the other characters, you know, like a bit of Ludo's backstory, or we know quite a lot about Hoggle, but you know, a bit of a Hoggle backstory, something like that. I could cope with that, but I don't think a sequel would work because you haven't got Bowie anymore. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah. Cool. What about you, Dustin?
Yeah, I don't think a sequel's necessary, but if they did do it, you couldn't have Jareth. You just couldn't because it's not Bowie, right? So you could have either a new Goblin King or some other. It doesn't even have to be a Goblin King. It could be somebody else completely. Because we had, like you said, Return to Oz. You had Mombi in Return to Oz, and you had the Gnome King. You had completely different villains. You can have a completely new villain and just keep the Labyrinth and all the other stuff that comes along with it. You just have to have somebody else completely. And I know somebody. We have a lot of good songwriters nowadays. We do, and there's a lot of them that do sometimes emulate a little bit of Bowie-ness to them. You know, and so you could have somebody like that in it, or or at least write the music for it, and I think that'd be really fun. I don't want them to all be CGI stuff.
Maybe Harry Styles would make a good.
I've had a thought.
Go for it.
It just goes, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if there was some kind of, you know how you have the idea of Jareth searching for his like Goblin Queen? It would be really cool to have a Goblin Queen who is like an adult Sarah.
Yeah.
I would like that.
So Jennifer Connelly would be the Goblin Queen.
The Goblin Queen. I just that would be really fun, particularly if we take my sequel idea of it being her daughter.
Yeah, definitely. I think I read somewhere somebody suggested the only person who could ever play like the Goblin King next is Tilda Swinton, which I kind of love that idea.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was great as the White Witch. She was great.
Yeah, and she's kind of already done it when she played Angel Gabriel in Constantine. That kind of genderless kind of thing. So I could definitely see her doing it. She would bring something really different to it, like different enough that you wouldn't be like, oh, it's not Bowie.
Yeah.
Because it'd be Tilda frickin' Swinton, frankly. But generally speaking, if Tilda can't do it, I'm like, no sequel. No. Don't need it. Don't mess with perfection. Jim Henson isn't around. You know, if Frank Oz said he fancied doing it, maybe. But you look at how many scripts they went through for this film. I think it was like 35 different versions, which is just mad. So, you know, it's such a difficult thing to get right that to get it right twice seems a bit.
Karen just said we can get Paul Bettany as the Goblin King.
Yeah.
She's finding a loophole. So.
Oh my God, Karen, you're a genius.
He would be good.
I probably would be interested in that as well. He is fantastic.
Yeah.
I would have liked O'Brien Goblin, actually.
You would have liked what, sorry?
O'Brien, you know, Riff Raff.
Oh, yeah.
I think he could have done quite wild, off the wall.
Yeah.
Very
Let's do the Labyrinth
again. Okay, that's a great place to finish it, because we can't beat that. Guys, thank you so much for joining me to talk about Labyrinth. It's been really fun.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Sorry I was late.
No, don't worry about it. Internet is, what the internet will do what it wants to do. Where can everybody find you online if you wish to be found? Let's start with Fran.
You can find me on pretty much every platform at Fran Writes Stuff. I'm always
Brilliant. That's so easy. Normally everyone's like, I'm on this one with that name and that one and that name, which is me basically. Exactly. So, Shelley, where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Shelley Toy on Instagram and Twitter, or if you like 90s nostalgic point horror, I'm over at Tales Point Horror Book Club on Instagram, and where we have a monthly read along.
Brilliant. And Shelley likes to dress up for that as well, which is always just brilliant. So check out Shelley's videos. They're so good.
Oh, dear.
And Dustin, where can we find you?
You can find me here at Dustin Can Read on Instagram, or Dustin C. Holden, that's my personal account, or on Twitter at Dustin_Holden, Holden, HOLDEN.
Awesome. And I have to say also that Fran's book is out next week after next.
Comes out on the 31st in the UK and the 29th in the States.
Amazing.
It sounds so good.
So shiny.
So shiny.
I'm going to go and pre-order it after the chat.
Thank you so much, everybody.
And your book comes out in 2 days.
Yes!
Comes out in 2 days. I have the finished version now. It's amazing. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Bye, everybody.